Good morning. I'm Morgan Ford from the Morgan Post here in Laughlin, Nevada, and this is the World Uncut. This morning's top stories: two recent space tragedies, including the fatal downing of a manned Virgin Galactic spacecraft. Ebola, which is more deadly, disease or fear? And are quarantines of healthcare workers who test negative for the disease fair, or better safe than sorry? Christie versus critic. Sit down and shut up. Is the New Jersey governor brave or bully? Believe me, we will weigh in. Also, accused cop killer Eric Frein finally captured after 7 weeks on the run. We'll give you the heart-pounding details of his arrest. But first, breaking news. A fire erupted at Disney World Saturday night. Embers from fireworks at the Magic Kingdom ignited a small fire in the Seven Dwarfs Mine train ride. All passengers were able to exit the ride safely, Disney said. The ride opened just this May. The fire was quickly extinguished and no injuries have been reported. From Shelby Hughes via Twitter: Seven Dwarfs Mine train ride in Walt Disney World has caught fire due to a firework remain from the fireworks show. Breaks my heart. Disney nuts via Instagram: looks like a little fire on the mine train. Thanks at Scott Fisher. Fire truck arrived and turned it off. Also, new this morning: Wayne Richard Wells, the frontman and founder of the California metal band Statix-X, has died. He was 48. The band announced Wells' death in a Facebook post late Saturday night, but did not disclose the cause. Wells performed under the name Wayne Static. The band was founded back in 1994, if you remember. And we have more details on the capture of accused cop killer Eric Frein. Eric Frein shown here with cuts to his face, a cut nose, and in an orange jail jumpsuit, a stark contrast to the clean-cut images plastering the airwaves for over 7 weeks, where Frein is often shown wearing Eastern European military garb and handling an AK-47. Thursday, a team of U.S. Marshals took the 31-year-old survivalist and military buff into custody at an abandoned airport near Tannersville, Pennsylvania. A U.S. Marshal said that his first sign of Frein came in the form of movement through nearby high grass and weeds. When I first saw him, I was like, what's this guy doing in the field by himself? A U.S. Marshal recalled Saturday. For a split second, I didn't think it was him, but then we had a sixth sense, I guess. I knew it was him. And so his team of marshals got closer, the suspect unaware until Frein turned around and saw the law enforcement officers approaching him. I told him to get on the ground. We just kept closing distance to about 5 feet away, I said. Who are you? What's your name? And he said, Eric Frein. A tense 48-day stretch, scaring many and closing schools. As many as 1,000 federal, state, and local law enforcement officers searched forests and other areas for Frein. And to the suspect's injuries, one of about a dozen marshals who took Frein down said they came about when they tried to detain Frein and avoid the firefight many had feared would happen. When authorities approached Frein, the suspect reportedly had his chest down on the ground, but his head was up looking at them. Per law enforcement protocol, Frein was forced down face first on the asphalt, facing away from the marshals. In the process, his nose got cut and his face scraped. After his arrest, this is the best part of the entire story. After his arrest, he was placed in the handcuffs of Pennsylvania State Police Corporal Brian Dixon, the officer Frein allegedly shot and killed on September 12th. Put in the back seat of the slain trooper squad car, then sent back to the barracks where the ambush on Dixon originally occurred. Two recent space tragedies have occurred. The first, an Antares rocket built and launched by Orbital Sciences, had some sort of failure just seconds after launch. The range safety officer apparently blew up the rocket to avoid injuries or misnavigation, possible misfiring of the rocket in an unsafe location. The downing of Virgin Galactic's Spaceship Two, manned by 2 men, just seconds after departure from the mothership White Knight 2, the Spaceship Two's engine reportedly stopped, and when it restarted, it blew up, disintegrating the craft in midair at about 45,000 feet. One of the pilots survived with very serious injuries. The seriousness of those injuries as yet undisclosed. The other was unfortunately killed. Governor Christie. Is he a bully when he tells a critic that heckles him at a press conference to sit down and shut up? The supposed critic was asking Governor Christie why he hasn't finished his Superstorm Sandy relief effort. This particular critic reportedly has been displaced from his home, him and his family, for some time. I can tell you, in my opinion, Christie is being nothing but a bully. If you read my article on the Morgan Post, it'll tell you what I think of Governor Christie. That he's a complete asshat, and that people need to stop using his name and the term 2016 in the same sentence. That would be like the director of FEMA trying to run for president 2 years after Hurricane Katrina. It's just not going to happen, Governor Christie. Ebola fears and quarantines. What exactly is fair? How far exactly is too far? Recently quarantined nurse Casey Hickox fought 2 governors in 2 states and won. She was first quarantined in New Jersey by Governor Christie. After testing negative for Ebola, she was able to leave and go home to her home state of Maine, where she was again quarantined by the Maine governor. She fought this quarantine for days, even leaving the house to do press conferences and even a bike ride with her boyfriend. A couple days later, a Maine judge ordered this quarantine unconstitutional after testing negative for Ebola twice. Is this how we should be treating the brave few that are willing to go overseas, that are willing to treat those that have Ebola? The few that actually know what it takes to catch this disease, what it takes to treat it, that know this, the little bit of science that we do know, they're the ones that know it. I'm pretty sure that taking a bike ride isn't going to spread Ebola to anybody. And to all those that are that afraid, they need to spend a little bit more time reading up on the disease and stop worrying about it so much. Because believe me, it's not nearly as scary or as big a deal as you think it is. Maybe you should go to West Africa and treat those patients like this nurse did, like many other doctors and nurses have. They're the few people on the planet that we should not be mistreating in regards to this Ebola outbreak right now. If you like the World Uncut and the Morgan Post, follow us on Twitter at the Morgan Post. You can join in the conversation, send in your own stories, tweet, comment, and possibly get posted on the website or even featured on the show. You can tweet at the Morgan Post or with the hashtag The World Uncut, or with any of the story hashtags provided. You can also read any of our stories at facebook.com/theworlduncut. That's where you can find the bulk of our stories and our articles written out. The World Uncut is intended to be an uncensored, new form of media, just for the internet and social media. We're not afraid to say fuck, use some profane words, or call a governor or senator here and there an asshat, a jagaloon, or a fucking jackass. If you are offended by this program, which is intended for mature viewers, then simply do not watch it. Otherwise, join in, share, spread this around, tell your friends, get involved. This is The World Uncut.